Aloha kako. Today, we'll be exploring vulnerability analysis through the lens of the flaw hypothesis methodology. We'll cover its importance in cybersecurity, the tools and techniques for vulnerability identification, and practical applications. By the end of this presentation, you'll gain insight into tracing vulnerabilities, hypothesizing attack vectors, and understanding the ethical and legal frameworks surrounding disclosure. So let's get started. The flaw hypothesis methodology is a structured approach for identifying potential vulnerabilities by hypothesizing likely flaws in a system based on its design and behavior. This technique is critical for proactively identifying weaknesses before they are exploited, allowing organizations to strengthen systems against potential attacks. Now let's explore two prevalent vulnerabilities that can often be identified using the flaw hypothesis methodology: SQL injection and cross-site scripting, or XSS. SQL injection occurs when a malicious actor manipulates a system's SQL query by injecting malicious code into input fields. This flaw can allow attackers to access, modify, or delete sensitive data stored in databases, posing a critical risk to any system relying on user inputs without proper validation. On the other hand, cross-site scripting targets users by injecting malicious scripts into otherwise trusted websites. This vulnerability enables attackers to execute these scripts in users' browsers, potentially stealing cookies, session tokens, or other sensitive information. By understanding these vulnerabilities, we can develop an hypothesis to identify weak points and effectively mitigate risks. To conduct effective vulnerability analysis, specialized tools are used. Today, we'll focus on three industry standard tools. OWASP ZAP, a proxy tool ideal for identifying web application vulnerabilities. NICTO, which scans for known vulnerabilities in web servers. Nessus, a comprehensive vulnerability assessment tool adaptable across system types. We'll demonstrate how these tools provide critical insights for mapping vulnerabilities effectively. Using OWASP ZAP, we scan a web application uncovering issues like cross-site scripting. With NICTO, we test a sample web server and find outdated components. Finally, Nessus highlights missing security patches on a test machine. Together, these tools allow us to visualize vulnerabilities, their impact, and their interconnectedness on a map, ensuring a clear path for remediation. Once a vulnerability is identified, tracing it to its root cause is paramount. By analyzing data using vulnerability tools like OWASP ZAP, we understand and identify SQL injection vulnerabilities. SQL injection is one of the most common and critical server security vulnerabilities. OWASP ZAP makes it easy to identify these issues by simulating attackers' inputs that attempt to manipulate database queries. With ZAP's automated scanning capabilities, users can quickly detect vulnerable entry points in their applications, enabling them to remediate these flaws before exploitation. With mitigating cross-site scripting threats, by leveraging OWASP ZAP, we can test web applications for cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. ZAP provides tools to emulate malicious script injections, helping pinpoint weak spots where input validation or output encoding may be insufficient. This empowers us to fix these vulnerabilities and protect users from data theft or unwanted actions. Lastly, proactive testing with OWASP ZAP isn't about just detecting problems. It's about adopting a proactive approach to web application security. Regular testing your applications with this tool ensures you catch vulnerabilities like SQL injection and cross-site scripting early in the development cycle. ZAP's user-friendly interface and rich features make robust security testing accessible to all teams, fostering safer applications for end users. With vulnerabilities mapped, we hypothesize plausible attack vectors. For example, cross-site scripting and SQL injection Cross-site scripting allows attackers to inject malicious scripts into trusted websites, compromising user data, hijacking sessions, or even defacing web pages. On the other hand, SQL injection targets the database directly, enabling unauthorized access, manipulation of data, or even complete database breaches. These hypotheses aid in highlighting the crucial importance of input validation and secure coding practices. Attack vectors often multiply when more than one vulnerability interconnects, highlighting the need for layered defense. Disclosure of vulnerabilities adheres to a balance of legal, ethical, and industry standards. Frameworks such as GDPR and HIPAA mandate protection of user data and timely breach notification. Ethical considerations require vulnerabilities to be responsibly reported to vendors before public disclosure to reduce risk to users. Standards like ISO IEC 27001 emphasize secure vulnerability handling while ensuring alignment with industry best practices. During our scans through the use of OWASP ZAP, we identified common web application vulnerabilities, cross-site scripting, and SQL injections. The scan uncovered user input fields that were not properly sanitized, allowing potentially malicious scripts to execute in the user's browser. Similarly, for the SQL injection, ZAP highlighted dynamic SQL queries that lacked parameterized statements, leaving the database susceptible to unauthorized data access or manipulation. This analysis reinforces how automated tools like OWASP ZAP can streamline the identification of critical security risk, ensuring a proactive approach to securing web applications. So, when should vulnerabilities be disclosed? Ideally, once a patch or remediation is available. Early coordinated disclosure with stakeholders and vendors ensures minimal user impact while maintaining ethical responsibility. Following standards outlined by organizations like HackerOne or the IETF helps streamline this process and maintain trust. Through this discussion, we've seen how vulnerability analysis tools like OWASP ZAP, NICTO, and Nessus bring hidden risks to light. We've explored root cause tracing, attack vectors, and the importance of legal and ethical standards in disclosure. Remember, continual learning and proactive evaluations are essential for staying ahead in cybersecurity. I encourage you to explore these tools further and remain vigilant in your cybersecurity efforts. Let's secure tomorrow today.